Well, is this live? Hi, for those who are watching, if anybody is watching. It's me, the angry anime fan, the despair reviewer, here to bring you, well, let's just say it's n- it's almost the final live stream of Angry Anime Fan of 2017. And although this probably won't be the last, it will be the last for me because, well, spoiler alert, I might do another one tomorrow, but it will not be tomorrow for me. It will be actually in the new year. However, I won't be solo on that. So, well, it's it's not important. So, well, but since this is a New Year's one, I'm gonna take these off for y'all. And well, joining me here not joining me here, but if anybody's joining or if anybody's watching afterwards, it's again me, the Angry Anime Fan, here to bring you a little talk about this and that as we try to summarize this year. Let's start with the negative. Okay, this year, if I talk real life, has not been pleasant. And if anything this year has made me, it's made me extremely cynical. No, it's made me more cynical than I already am. Because people, if anybody is watching this, you should all know that I'm a cynical guy by nature. A very cynical guy by nature. It's not that I prefer to call myself a different type of cynical guy. There are those cynical guys that actually break down others' hope because they feel like it's satisfying, and there's those cynical guys that do not know what to do because they simply haven't tried hard enough or don't know how to try hard enough. And then there's those like me who I think classify more as want to do the best they could, but they just feel so powerless because all the answers about this and that is just not clear to people's minds. It's really a mess, really. However, I'm not the type of guy who talks down on hope. If there is anyone out there who have hope, in fact, I encourage them. Hang on to it, because you never know if you're ever gonna lose it. You know what I mean? Well, either way, so what has really happened this year? Well, not really that much. If we talk private life, it's a lot of things have happened and not so good. The different system and the politicians that made me even more cynical than ever. Because if there's one thing I can tell you all, I I hate politics with a burning passion, and it's only become stronger this year. However, we're not only gonna talk about how things in real life have begun really excuse the language, shitty and stuff like that. There are many who have it shittier more. I'm gonna summarize a little bit here, mostly about my life and a little bit what is going on here, what has been good, and what's probably been bad. Well, first off, the year has been very slow. I was let go of my first job because the manager had to do some upgradeness. And she has never called me back, even though she has begun to work at that business again. I think she just wanted to get rid of me, if I'm speaking frankly. Luckily, though, I had a second job, and that job promoted me. Well, almost promoted me. At least upgraded me, I guess I should say. So I could now work 5 times a day, almost half time, I think, almost half time. And I have not, and that's one of my longest working hours late. So I felt very happy about this. So this year hasn't been a fruitless year. It's been a year of working really hard, finding a serious job and working there. Although I don't really know if I'm gonna be allowed to work on that place more in 2018. Given how things are moving along, I don't think I will. I do not think I ever will uh, get second. I mean, you know, I don't think they won't rehire me for 2018 once my contract goes out. Who knows? I can always hope they will, because it's better to have a job while you try to look for your future, because that's one thing that's been going on this year the most. Trying to look for the future, searching for classes. Because, spoiler alert to everyone else, in January, late January, almost early February, I will go to New York for 2 months, unless, of course, the border stops me, which is very likely they will. And why do I think they will stop me? Well, because the borders terrify me. To be perfectly honest, they completely and utter terrify me. Because I will look guilty in their eyes, despite the fact that I come from a pretty Europe-like country. So I will be there. I will still do manga reviews, although I don't think I will be able to do them as freely as before because I will share the apartment with people living in there. And who knows, maybe I'll do a live stream over there talking about what I've experienced. I'm going there to New York for a long time, mostly because I am intending to find a new purpose in life. I'm taking a short class there. I know a Stella Adler acting class, to be perfectly honest. And I know what you're thinking. Why are you taking only a 1 week class in Stella Adler while you're in New York? Well, first off, it was the only course I could find. I tried to apply for an intensive course in, what was that name? Not Stella Adler, Strasbourg, and I was rejected. In fact, the lady who interviewed me sent her the rejection only 3 hours after she had interviewed me. So yeah, I stood no chance of getting in there ever. So taking a small class here may actually be a very good, because now I can be in New York and hopefully meet interesting people. Again, that all depends on me. Because I hope the 2018 is going to be an experienced year for me, where I can evolve. And that's also another part of this thing that I will try to talk to you all about. How I wish this channel is going to go through changes. Maybe going through some changes. So, well, first off, let's see here. Now that we have talked about that, let's talk about the different the mangas of 2017. Because while life in real world has been nothing but shit this last year, manga industry has at least had a pretty decent year. New mangas got released, some got hot, some did not, and I have begun to review a new series, Dr. Stone. So let's dive in a little bit to the manga series I review. And which do I think was the best manga? Well, that's difficult, people, because I haven't checked who I think is the best, really. I honestly do not know. And I think we'll also do an honorable mention, because this was the year that Fairy Tail stopped with their, well, when they finished everything, right? Sorry, I'm hesitating a little bit. It's been a long day, and a lot of things have happened. I had an argument with family about this and that, but my family life is normally cool. It's just that sometimes it's pretty different. They don't really like how much I reject this reality, because sometimes you need to be with your family in order to know that there is a real world out there. But I've grown so cynical of the real world that I like the fictional now. And yeah, but first, the Fairy Tail did end this year, so let's talk about a little bit this. How much people have hated on that manga. They've hated it so much that it's actually honestly obnoxious. How can one manga be that disliked? Do you really dislike hope that much? Do you really dislike the power of friendship that much? Or is it just that the writing is not to your liking? Because people, I'm trying to become a writer myself, and I know how difficult it is to write a story that is driven to you. In fact, I recently just finished my first draft of my book, and I know for a fact that book will never get published because I need to rewrite it. I don't know how many times. But my point is, no story works the first time unless you're a prodigy. And do I think that Hiro Mashima was a prodigy? Well, he was an art prodigy, that's no doubt. Because unlike all the other manga artists, he never took a break unless it was a vacation. He had strength. Could he have become better in the story? Yes, even I acknowledge that. But I take what I had, and I'm okay with it. I liked what I got from the fairy tale, and fairy tale for me inspired hope and friendship, something that does not exist in this real world nowadays, at least not as common. So for that, I give fairy tale a salute. Thank you for this year, and I certainly hope that well, what's their name? That Hiro Mishima will come back next year with a new manga. Will that manga become a hit, though? No, I don't think it will, but only because people's grudges are that strong. Now that we have talked about that, let's dive into the other mangas that I have tried to review. Okay, let's start with Kingdom. Kingdom is a manga that has really grown tremendously over the years, and in fact, some people say that it's only become better as the years have passed by. Is that true, though? Has it become better? Well, yeah, I think so. I looked up in Twitter recently, and they talked about that famous manga reviewer Rogers Base actually tried to read The Kingdom, and he dropped it after only 243 chapters, was it? Or something like that. And a lot of people thought that was weak. And in a way, I have to agree with them, because technically, Kingdom only did become better the more it went forward. Mostly because finally the main character could have pants on. Yeah, no, that's not the real reason why it's become so good. However, I have read every single chapter, and yes, I did see the anime, and the anime was one of the few times an adaptation of a manga that actually failed. The animation did not match. The second season's animation was more to my liking, but it still did not 100% click, you know. And by that time, the damage was already done. They will never make a new anime of Kingdom, mostly because the fans were so disappointed by the other two. And that's the problem, because I really think they should have. Because the best part of Kingdom manga was the Coalition Army. That's when the action really started, and where things really evolved. So Kingdom has evolved into a very interesting historical violent manga. I mean, I don't know how much of history is true or fiction, but you know what? I don't care. I don't care if they throw in fiction into this reality, because reality sucks. That's the only thing I come up with this year. But my point is, Kingdom really knows how to drive characters, and it also brings forth a morality in the question. This is war, where everything is allowed. And my point to that is, everything is allowed in this war, which makes you question what is right and what is wrong. You cheer on the characters you know are good, but just because they are, I mean, the good side, the main character's side, but just because they are, sorry, on those main characters' side, does not mean that they necessarily do good. It's a wonderful story about action morality and really, you know, stuff like that. I got some viewers here. Russell Jones and King Shiro. Well, if King Shiro is still watching this, why are you saying okay? Are you saying okay because I was just talking about dumb shit, or because I was talking about the kingdom? Well, no, I mean, these were just my thoughts. Other manga, well, One Piece. This is actually the one year where I actually have to criticize One Piece. One Piece has not been kind to me this year. It didn't even start to my liking. Sanji being still thrown around like a rag doll. The story taking an extremely slow turn. Beige becoming an ally despite I didn't want to. The fact that they couldn't even move Big Mom, and Big Mom get kicked. In fact, now when I think about it, the story hasn't really moved that much forward. So I'm sorry to say, but One Piece really dropped in my standards this year. They failed with a lot of things that I wanted to happen, and I've become quite disappointing at what they did. However, the One Piece was One Piece. It's still one of the best mangas out there. I just didn't like how this whole Cake Island arc went. And did it end? Did it end good? Yeah, a little bit. It ended pretty good. But I really do hope there will happen more action 2018, and that the whole Cake Island arc will become solved. Because if there's one thing I complain about One Piece is the fact that the enormous amount of pacing. But of course, I'm not only gonna criticize One Piece. One of the best things was that we finally saw the Elbaf homeworld, and we saw deeper into everything else that's been going on here. We were introduced to new badass characters, although these characters got some kind of negative review because of that and that. However, the anime is catching up to them, and that's not good. I do not like the fact that the anime is catching up to the manga. That means that anime has to be cancelled or make an anime original ending, and no one likes an anime original ending from a manga series this long. I'm just saying. I know that. So let's see, which other can we talk about? Nanatsu no Taisai. Yeah, that's been one roller coaster for me. Seven Deadly Sins. Nanatsu no Taisai has been one major roller coaster for me in liking. I complained a lot about it. Then I did not complain much about it, mostly because I watched some of the better reviewers. And when I seen, well, not better reviewers, I don't actually like these guys. The better reviewers that I like, those are Triple L, Just Another Reviewer, Dustin Reacts, Laz, King Recon, and stuff, and those guys. I have nothing but respect for them. Reviewers I do not like were those like Chibi or Rogers Base, really. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're better than me. I just don't like them that much. My point is, though, that I didn't want to have Chibi's complaining. And I think he complained a little bit about Nanatsu no Taisai, the same for me. So I decided to become the blind guy and try to accept the faults that Nanatsu no Taisai is pulling. Yeah, just like how I did with Fairy Tail. So, well, Nanatsu no Taisai has been high up in action, but it's also been pretty slow in that and that. It's been one roller coaster of despair and one roller coaster of awesomeness. But I think the manga artist also got sick, and that was kind of worrying. We finally got, I think at least it was this year, the information about the Holy War and the demon story. That was interesting, and it finally confirmed the theory about Elizabeth. Which, by the way, I like that one really much. Sorry. So that's Nanatsu no Taisai. Let's see here. Another, well, Boku no Hero Academia, My Hero Academia. Yeah, I mean, would I place My Hero Academia as one of the best manga series of this year? Well, from a reviewer's standpoint of view, yes. From a guy who do not like despair and the fact that you can take away powers, no. It's the fact that this arc that they had, it was not the best arc they made, but it was also the longest arc they have ever made. However, they did throw a very strong sense of emotional roller coasters in these things. The first major death in the story, that shows that Boku no Hero Academia may very well be the, what you can call, the successor of Naruto, because Naruto was never shy on killing off characters. So maybe, yes, maybe, they're taking on a serious tone here. However, it's still not really sure if I could call that one of the best mangas of this year, because I didn't really like My Hero Academia's situations here, especially when they revealed a drug that can take away quirks. That was one major pain in the ass for me. And some characters got justice while others did not. However, I can admit that the endings of these chapters were, well, that was just plain and simple awesome. So, that's another one there. Now let's see, which other do I review? Oh yeah, I I need to talk about the Dr. Stone, the new manga of 2017. There has been a lot of new mangas here, and what are my thoughts on Dr. Stone? Well, that's one of the best new manga series I have read this year. And it's an amazing combo of comedy, seriousness, and unrealistic. I mean, it even throws some science in there, and you're not even interested in science, so to speak. However, you're still drawn into it because it's just so amusing. So having there, and the characters make the story too. It's actually a pretty odd team, though. I think the writer is the same guy who made Ice Shield, and the artist is the same guy who made Sun Gun, or was it? Well, let's just say he was pretty famous for many erotic manga series in the past. And that's actually not difficult to see in Dr. Stone, especially in the female characters who are drawn extremely seductively. Which, by the way, it's not a bad thing. And, well, what can we say about that series more? I recommend Dr. Stone, and once it gets localization in my place, I will definitely buy the first volume. Will Dr. Stone still be good in 2018, though? That's the question, because now they have resolved one major storyline. So the one big flaw I've had with Dr. Stone was I'm not really sure on where it is going to go or where it's heading. I sense it's an amazing thing with the characters are going to drive the story, but I'm still not exactly sensing where is the story going to take them and how. So maybe that will make me bored of Dr. Stone, but for now, I liked it, so I hope it's gonna still be nice. Other series here that I review is Shokugeki no Soma, and let me tell you, Shokugeki no Soma was extremely betraying to me this year. I mean, I would have placed Shokugeki no Soma as one of the best mangas of this year, mostly because they finally fought against the Elite Ten as well as the corrupt regime of Asami Nakamura. However, Megami lost a cooking duel, and I recommend you all to check out that review. What was it, chapter 240 or something? Maybe it was 240. It was one rage, I tell you. Oh man, I raged so much that it wasn't even funny. Yeah, it was chapter 240. That was one very big rage for me, and I'm not happy that happened. I'm also not happy that a lot of people accepted her defeat. It did not make sense to me. I'm sorry. It just did not make sense to me. So more manga series. I began to review Fire Brigade of Flames, bought the manga places. I liked it. I like Fire Brigade of Flames. Of course, it's not the perfect manga, but I like it. Simple action. In fact, I did a live stream or Discord discussion with another group, Gracer, I think was his name. Another KL Reviews was another, I think, and Manga, etc. However, I don't know if that ever was put up. I mean, the guys were the others were recording it, so I think it's taking a long time doing that. But that was a fun Discord talking. Oh yeah, we cannot forget to talk about Black Clover. Black Clover. Maybe I will. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'll place Black Clover as the side of my best manga of this year. The action, the characters, and the things that have happened have really been to my liking this year. So I'll place Black Clover on my highest list here when it comes to suspense and stuff like that. The Witch Forest arc may have been felt pretty slow, but the tournament arc, it wasn't bad. Introduced so many characters and have been anything else there. It's really been a blast for me to read Black Clover, and the anime premiered this year. What are my thoughts on the anime? Well, positive yet mixed, I should say. What does that mean? Well, it means like this. It's not bad, definitely not. The art actually grows on me, and the characters are drawn beautifully, even in the anime. In fact, they almost look more beautiful in the anime than they do in the manga, and the characters are drawn very well. The one problem, though, is surprisingly Asta's voice, the main character. As soon as his voice premiered, he has got an enormous amount of criticism, saying it is not the best choice. In fact, many goes to say that his dub actor is better than his original one. And when you know they say that, you really are in trouble. So, do I agree with them? Well, I don't disagree, but I don't agree either. I think I would say it like this. Yes, Asta's voice is a little bit annoying, but only when he screams. Other than that, his voice is actually kind of fitting. It's pretty surprising, though. He's making the same voice that from Haikyuu Hinata could. But the funny thing is that Hinata's voice actor is not the voice of Asta. I thought for sure he would be. But it's a new CG guy, Gaku or something. And I'm sorry, but Gakuyo do not have Hinata's screaming abilities. He does not. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm a screamer, but everybody knows my screams are annoying as well. So what is it with Asta's scream in the anime that does not work? I mean, Asta screams a lot in the manga, so of course he would be a screamer in the anime. It's just that the tone of the scream can be pretty annoying, and you just have to get used to it. So why is it annoying? Well, maybe because when he screams, I think it goes like this, and now I'm gonna make an impersonation of it. It's gonna sound even worse than his scream, but try to find a picture. Something like, Akeramena! Something like that. What I meant to demonstrate with that scream is the fact that every time he goes down, it ends with an exact same tone. Ah! Mitsuru Kasera! His screams almost always ends like that, and unfortunately that creates an annoying side effect. So yeah, I can agree with some people actually just wanted to pull out their hair and said, oh, come on, are you serious? Still, other than that, it's not a bad series. I recommend it. And it's even got 52 episodes, so it's not gonna become bad. It's not gonna become bad anytime soon. Oh, what do we have here? Dustin Reacts actually popped in for a quick visit. And so did GH, sorry, I cannot pronounce the name right. Jabari Owens. So yeah, and you all had some comments here. Dustin feels like My Hero Academia was the best this year. Not surprising, Dustin. After all, you always like those kind of stories the most. And all the mix of despair and hope, and as well as suspense and the fact that you don't know exactly what's going to happen. So I can agree with saying that when it comes, I mean, from a story point of view, My Hero Academia certainly was among the best this year. From a hope standpoint of view, and just quick action, I would place Black Clover. One Piece is just in the middle of that because, let's just face it, both Dustin and I, we have had some mixed thoughts about this One Piece year. In fact, you should check out our live streams. They are glorious, and they're mostly glorious because Dustin is in them. He is one of the best reviewers here. In fact, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. What makes this year pretty unique is that I have actually befriended some YouTubers. I have had live stream with I think was it Last Commandor, Dustin Reacts, and Triple L. One, I think, famous manga reviewers. I found when I gathered a Twitter account, I actually communicated with Dustin Reacts, and we came to an understanding, I guess I could say, and we had our live streams. A lot of our thoughts were very similar when it comes to One Piece, and I guess we should say we bonded over that. Is that right? The right word, Dustin? If you're still watching this, and yeah, he's a cool dude, and I'm honored to call him a friend now. In fact, I even told him my real name, and So who knows? Also, Russell Jones here says that that this is the worst Gen stream hype. Hey, dude, I am not a positive reviewer. I never said that, and this is completely and utterly improvised. So of course it's not a Gem stream hype. Besides, what he is talking about is I wasn't even going to mention this, but it's the fact that I am hoping to do a live stream together with all these famous reviewers and some that I did not even mention, like 100 Medicine. Of course, I'm not the one who's gonna have it at the end, at this end of the last day of the new year, so to speak. The only reason why I did not talk about that is because my timetable is a little bit, shaky. So it may come to the fact that I either will miss it or I can't do it. So I will have it in 2018, but the other guys will still have it in 2017. It's that much time difference between us, my friends. But either that, I do recommend people to check it out. It's gonna air tomorrow, and you will not miss it. And yeah, you said here, Giabri Ovens, that go back to 99 chapter of Black Clover and see the new members of Black Bulls, huh? Chapter 99, huh? Well, that's very worthy. I'm gonna check it out. So yeah, that's those manga. What else can we talk about? Well, I'm gonna talk about other things. I haven't watched that much anime this year. Just some. I went back to see Fairy Tail, liked it. I went through the entire Fairy Tail's episodes, and before you say, "Oh, get a life," I have to say I went through the entire Gintama too. Are you gonna say I'm still need a life? Because Gintama is actually pretty funny. It took a while for me to get into that series, but now I really liked it. However, later this year, I actually grown a little tired of anime and has not watched it as much as before. I watched Blockade. I liked it a lot. However, my deepest feelings, well, not deepest feelings, but what I have been most on all about this entire year have been cartoons. If anybody's watching, I'm actually doing reviews of DuckTales 2017. And I do not know when the next episode is going to air. It's obviously going to air in 2018, but it could very well air in March, not in you know what. And in fact, this is one of the things I'm going to talk to you about. I'm thinking of doing a new thing in this channel. Note, thinking. It's not guarantee I will do it. I'm gonna call it Let's Talk Cartoons, which I go through a cartoon, either old, cult, newly released if I got stuck on it, not that old, extremely popular, or maybe even I will go through a cartoon that is actually just a very big joke. Unfortunately, if I knew animation or stylish things, I will do those reviews a bit differently, but unfortunately, people, I do not know that. So I will probably just do these kind of live streams and talk about them. I will go through the characters, I will go through the story, I will go through the seasons a little bit, and explain why did I get hooked on these. Because I can admit to you all, I got hooked on the Loud House series this year. And it broke my heart, really, when Chris Savino got fired for sexual harassment. But not because I liked the guy, it was only because I liked the show, and he was one of the directors of it and the executive producer. It's put the future of the show in extreme jeopardy. So why did I get stuck on the show in the first place? I don't know. I think maybe I will start to review the Loud House season 3 once it airs, if it's to my liking. I mean, other than that, I will do Let's Talk Cartoon Talking and talk to you all about this and that. So, and a new commentator here, the Heart 96. You think the DuckTales is good and you like the Loud House too? Well, thank you very much. Those series are good. It's just sometimes I just wonder. I am worried about the. And what do you think of what? Oh, Russell asked, "What do I think of the Teen Titans Go?" I think it sucks. Well, don't worry, dude, because I have not watched it. I have not watched that series a single bit. As soon as I saw the art, I said, no. In fact, I didn't even watch the new Powerpuff Girls. But maybe I will dive into that series just to see why people complain so much about it. However, mostly why I do not watch the Titans Go series is because I love the Young Justice series. Anybody who's still here that's talking about cartoons know about that series? Young Justice, my people. You need to watch that series. That's one of the best series I have ever seen. And why is it so good? Well, the animation, the action, the story, and not to mention the voice actors. One of the best voice actor collaboration ever there. So I will talk about those series. In fact, 2018 they have promised that Young Justice will come back, and if it does come back, I will review that series. No, yeah, unless something happens to me, unless I have very busy to do, unless this computer crashes, and unless I, of course, die, I promise you all, I'm gonna review that series, one way or another. However, it's gonna release on stream and every single episode on the place. Well, that's gonna be kind of difficult, you know. But I will really try to watch the Young Justice season Outsiders. However, when will it air? No freaking idea, people. No freaking idea. But it came back. Samurai Jack also came back this year. And it aired on glorious reviews. And I watched that season. I was planning on reviewing it, but I got sidetracked, so I didn't. And what do I think about Samurai Jack's season 5? It was bloody, but hey, it was action-filled and it was fulfilling. Still, though, I've also watched Voltron: The Legendary Defender a lot this year. Also one of the better series. Although I'm still actually wondering who is gonna do that there. Oh, we have some new commentators here. Anime X Manga God, Young Justice is so good. Well, glad you're agreeing with me. And Joy Boy here. Yo, Angry, big fan here. Well, that's for sure. Although you have Joy Boy, you have corrected a lot of my writing on the thing. I'm sorry about that, dude. It's just that I suffer from a mild form of dyslexia, so these things usually are pretty annoying for me to hear. But I appreciate the fact that you corrected them. So, So Anime X Manga God, huh? John Boy knows him too. Well up, Anime X Manga God. And yeah, you agree also that Samurai Jack brought back to my childhood the Heart 96. Yeah, it did. I was actually surprised that they did brought it back. However, I think it was the reason for it came back is the reason Samurai Jack came back. So yeah, I'm a cartoon lover, but I'm not an artist. Do I wish I was an artist? Hell yeah, I do. Do I wish I could create a cartoon? Hell yeah, I do. But I don't know who can create a cartoon, nor do I know who artist. In fact, I hope when I come to New York, I can meet people that are familiar with drawing. So, it's gonna be that thing. Huh. Oh, and Charles in Anime World, you dropped in a little bit quickly here just to remind me. Lost. Well, Charles, that was actually kind of mean, but yeah, I get what you mean. Well, thank you for at least getting into this thing. Well, Russell Jones, you say that cartoons suck nowadays. Not all. Not all. What do you mean? Cartoons suck now and days, not all. I mean, and Enemy X God, you ask, have I heard of Codename Kicks Next Door? Have I heard of Kids Next Door? Read my laugh, my friend. Read my laugh. It's yeah, but in all seriousness, yes, I have heard of it. Ben Diskin, in one of his earliest roles, played number 1 and number 2. Then no, not number 2, number 4, I think. What's number 2? Ugh. Maybe I really did forget. Maybe I really did forget. Sorry about that. It's But yeah, I know the kids next door. And what do you think about that laugh, John Boy? Well, I'm gonna end this review with my evil laugh, people, just to freak you out a little bit. I know it's a bad laugh, but come on. What's with you? And what's with you, Russell Jones? What do you mean a lame-o? Do you think I'm a lame-o? I never said I was a good reviewer. I have never said that. Don't get me wrong, I want to improve. It's just that I'm an honest guy, so I'm always talk about this and that. Now let's see here. Again, what is it about me that draw me to cartoons? Well, when I was young, because I'm gonna talk a little bit about my private life here. People, I have a disorder. Not just dyslexia, but I have ADHD and a mild form of Asperger's syndrome. Therefore, of course, that's one of the reasons why I'm always so a little bit aggressive sometimes, and why I feel detached from reality. Because when you get hooked on things, it's really difficult to get lost in it. And cartoons for me felt like freedom of speech. Nowadays, what draws to me for cartoon is either the art style and the voices. I love voice acting a lot. In fact, one of my biggest dreams is to become a voice actor. Do I think I'm gonna become a voice actor? No, I do not. Because even though some people say I do have a good voice for it, others just say, nah. I tried to enter a competition once, and let me say there are 2 good people that are better than me. I mean, I know what kind of voice I can play. I can play the large ham. I can play the large ham kind of voices. I'm the type of guy that always screams and laughs when I want to act. So I'm a little bit of an overreactor, and the thing is, maybe that's why I'm not getting any acting roles, because I really hope to become an actor also, because I'm too much of an overreactor. Then maybe that's why I like cartoons, because sometimes it's okay to be a large ham. And you say you love my scream rants, John Boy. Well, the reason for they're rare is because the manga really have to set me off. So that thing is. So Anime X Manga God, if you love the cartoons, I will try to keep watching my shows. I review cartoons, and I will talk about them in these new things. Let's talk cartoons. When will I do them? That's the only problem, my friends. I do not know when I will do them. It could very well be in April, just because of my trip to New York, and also because I do not know how I'm going to start these things. It could be live streams. It could just be let's talk cartoons and stuff like that. However, I think I will review The Loud House Season 3 when it comes out, because I think that's going to be the last season of Loud House. Now that Chris Savino is fired and I have heard no single renewal of a season 4th, I know they're going to get a movie. However, it's not going to surprise me if that movie is going to get canceled as well. I may very well have to review that series, and so I'm going to review season 3. But I still wished he did not have to get fired, because now I'm afraid the series is not going to be as good as it's been before. But then again, it's not. Chris Savino was only the series that made the start. The writers have created the rest. So who knows? And you, John Boy, you asked if I've seen the Boondocks. Well, yes, I have seen the Boondocks, but I'm white, so I cannot really say I like it. I mean, the animation was anime, so I guess it was cool. But I didn't really get hooked on it. But mostly because I didn't feel like I had any right to like it, because I am white, and the language in that series, well, I'm not exactly, there's a limit, even for me, on how foul language as shows can be. And I watch Archer, mind you, so that's actually not saying anything. And I watched Family Guy once upon a time, but now I no longer do that. So, and I've tried. And I've tried to watch BoJack Horseman. But I've only watched the season 4, and the only thing I feel like I like about it, I mean, it's a story about that and that. And here, and the Heart 96 says, "Damn, that's tragic." Well, I'm a pessimistic guy. Sorry about that, Heart. So trust me, I want nothing more than to be proven wrong. If Loud House can at least get 6 seasons, then it's okay for me. After its 6th season, then it can end, because mostly a series cannot go on forever. However, if the creator is no longer on the show, the stature of the show is in peril. So I think firing him was one of Nickelodeon's biggest mistakes. But then again, he was the guy who did the sexual harassment, and the guy who did the sexual harassment needs to be punished in the end. And well, let's see. You asked something else, Anime X Manga Good. You asked Angry if I've heard more about story cartoons. Well, that depends. What do you mean about a story cartoons? Do you mean like Adventure Time or Avatar: The Last Airbender or stuff like that? Because I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. I even watched Avatar: The Legend of Korra. However, I did not like the last season. Mostly because, well, I know this is going to sound controversial, but that Korra and Asami coming out as bisexuals, that was not exactly 100% to my liking. I'm just going to say that. Mostly because it was a fan request, and in the end that fan request turned out to be true, although the creator said they always had a mind for that. But then again, that's on me. I guess I had to accept it. It just felt like... so, who knows? So you did mean cartoons like that. Well, I say this. I do like a story cartoon. The problem is, though, not all story cartoons get a long season. Avatar was a sleeper hit, and it was one of the... and I felt like it was one of the better series like that. I mean, of course, it had some flaw over there. And Avatar: The Legend of Korra, they did improve. However, again, that bisexual thing, it made sense, but at the same time, I also said, does friendship between girls always have to lead to that? So who knows? Well, but then again, that's people are probably going to call me a homophobe for that, because, well, I just have to suck up and accept it, you know. But I have noticed that cartoons have become a little bit more open-minded when it comes to the LGBT culture. In fact, now going back to Loud House, sorry, it's actually the first series, I think, that has an openly gay couple. And in fact, it's treated pretty positively. They're not stereotypical or anything else. That's a good, wonderful portrayal. But if I go back to Voltron, it's the same team that created Korra. And I have a slight suspicion that one of the characters are gay, mostly because he never interacts with the females, and the way he always talks to that other character makes me actually question that. That makes me think that. So I mean, it's the character Keith and Shiro. They're like brothers, but at the same time, the way Keith is sometimes, well, I wouldn't say obsessed, but let's just say if they went down that road, I will not be surprised. But I also don't think it should happen, because, I mean, let's just have some brotherly friendship here, okay? In fact, if there's any character who should come out, it should be Pidge, because she doesn't even look like a female. Sorry, I know this is, now I'm getting to offensive language here, but I'm seriously talking honestly here, not anything more like that. Oh yeah, I'm gonna answer some comments here. John Boy, is there any form media you enjoy, Despair? Well, what do you mean by that? I don't enjoy despair, but I do know that the greatest stories that are getting drawn to you are those filled with despair. You cannot just have a happy-go-lucky story all the time. You need to have some emotion in it. And in my book that I wrote, which was, by the way, very heavily influenced by Final Fantasy, mind you, which is probably why it's never ever going to be publicized, I'm trying to put the things about moving on with your pain. Life is not easy for you, but you have to move on and find a new sense in it. So, and Enemy X God, you asked me a lot of things here. You agree with me on the Korra part, and you asked me if I've seen Steven Universe. Well, I've heard of it, but I have not watched it yet. In fact, I'm not even so sure if I would actually stuck on Steven Universe. I mean, Steven Universe also have a lot of freedom of speech. So, and I've heard it's, and I've heard it's about this and that. It's pretty colorful, but then again, I have to admit you to all one thing. Yes, I did watch My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. You can judge me all you want. However, I can say to you all here, I do not like the English talk. Why do I not like the English talk? Well, let's just say I'm a stupid guy, okay? I mean, there's a type of voice actors I like. And what kind of voice actors do I like the most? Well, I like those kind of voice actors that come from the anime industry the most. They have the most badass voices. Maybe one of the reasons why I like those adventure stories the most. So, the Canadian voice actors, well, they do not click with me that much. They're talented, but that's just the thing. They are too talented. They are playing multiple characters, so I sometimes do not think they work for me. In fact, it got a Japanese dub of the only 2 seasons, and probably will not get anything else. And I liked the Japanese version more than I liked the English dub. I mean, crazy, right? But I have not. But other comments here. I have not watched Adventure Time either. The art is not exactly clicking with me yet. But I think if I got into it, I would like it as well. Because I think even my own brother liked it, and that guy is pretty difficult to impress when it comes to cartoons. So I think if I watched it, I would like it. I know the voice actors, especially John DiMaggio. That guy is very talented. And but I have not watched Rick and Morty yet. The show feels a little bit too the humor feels a little bit too crude for my taste. But then again, I tried to watch Big Mouth. And that was also, I think that was one of the most crude shows I've ever watched. But I can understand why people liked it. Because every now and again, you need to create a depravity-like series. And that series, well, was no shy when it came to depravity. And no society shy at all. But I have not got stuck on it yet. So, and the same for Rick and Morty. I know that once I watch it, I'm gonna like it. But I know everything about it. So I prefer those. I prefer those more downtown cartoons that are not so offensive about that. And yeah, I've watched the Troll Hunters too. Although it took so very long time for the new season to air, but that's only because Anton Yelchin died in a car accident. Or wait, did the car fall down on him? I mean, may he rest in peace. It's and that series will only get 3 seasons. The animation, very good. The voice actors was also very good. But I can understand why people did not immediately fall for the Troll Hunter. It's when it comes to evolving, it's not exactly the best series, but it's not a bad series either. So and by the way, Anime X Manga God, if you're still watching this, what do you mean by you say? What do you mean when you say Steven Universe is just a SGY show? What does that mean? Please clarify. So while you clarify, young boy, I have not watched Bob Burgers. It does not seem to be a show for my taste. I mean, the guy who voices Bob is the same guy that voices Archer, so I know the humor is the same. But I think I'll prefer Archer. And Troll Hunters, well, what can we summarize it about? It's pretty difficult. It's not about hunting troll. It's basically about a guy being chosen by a magic amulet made by Merlin. That normally trolls are always in that things. By the glory of Merlin, daylight is might to command, and they wield a magic armor, and they defend their realm against evil trolls. But now a human is chosen to become the troll hunter. And maybe he is the key to end the troll wars, as they prepare for the battles against a very dangerous demon. I mean, the troll hunter. And wait, so SGW stands for Social Justice Warrior. I'm sorry, John Boy, because you were the one who translated this. What do they do? Um, and yeah, I like that comment, Heart96. What Angry said about me summarizing the Troll Hunter. So then, what do I think about another Avatar series will happen in the future? Well, the creators said no. However, if I'm however, if I have to say it like this, is the fact that I actually once tried to imagine what will happen if there will be another Avatar series. And I think it will be like this. We would jump ahead another few years, and the culture would have changed again. It would become more modernized. People may have hated bending again, but it will also have become very divided. Because if you think about it, I think a lot of bending would have become illegal. Magma bending, flying bending, blood bending, and what was the final one? There's one last bending that would have, combustion bending. Maybe they would have made those illegal. Why do I think flying would have become illegal, though? Well, didn't they say that in order to fly, you had to let go of your earthly tantrums? Meaning you had to let go of everything else? I would have pictured the new guy to be an even cynical Avatar character than the previous one. And I would have thought that the Ercolidites would have created a counter clan, the anti-Ercolidites. Maybe Tencent's youngest son would have created that, only because he did not like Avatar, Korra, her deeds, and maybe even the fact that she was bisexual, you know. That could have worked as a story. The main characters of this story was a cynical Avatar, could have met all these characters that is both a bloodbender, a magma bender, and even can fly. If we ended up on that, we'll have a very dark take on the Avatar series. But no, I don't think Avatar will come back. And if it will come back, it will probably be darker than ever. So let's see now here. You answered to me about the social justice warrior. It's like a feminist, but for defend all cultures, races, and minorities. It's kind of is a SJ show, but it's flaw in pacing, lack of action, Steven being a pussy. But they do the things Joyboy said, but it's in a very bad way. So is that the social justice warrior? Well, people, I'm a controversial guy too. Again, coming back to the Loud House. I know I'm talking about that series a lot. Again, it got stuck in my head. It's gonna take months before I get it out of my head. Is the fact that I did not like the fact that Chris Savino got fired because of sexual harassment. Did I wish he would have come back? Yes, I do. Even if he had mistreated women? Yes, maybe I did. But only him. The other guys who did mistreated women, they could have been fired for all I care. Harvey Weinstein, I know the fact that guy was a scum. Mostly because I saw him in Entourage once upon a time. Even there he was scum. And he played himself, mind you. And apparently the pacing in Steven Universe is very terrible. Well, I guess I will have to dive into Steven Universe again. I mean, I was afraid I was gonna get into it because people were gonna call me. Oh, sorry, I had to lower it up like this. People were gonna call me a pussy, or maybe even call me gay for liking it, because that's the problem with these colorful shows. There will always be people that judge you there, and of course. Some people, some who are gay or some may like that. However, you shouldn't like it just because who you are. You should like the show because it is what it is. A cartoon series. What is it about cartoons that makes us drawn to them, people? I'll tell you what makes me drawn to them. It's the fantasy. It's the action. It's the characters. Because I believe it like this. If politicians had watched more cartoons, the world would have been a happier place. I sincerely believe that, because there's a lot of hidden wisdom in cartoons. It's not childish at all. People, do not think that cartoons are for children, or do not think that cartoons need to be R-rated nowadays. A cartoon can be enjoyed by anyone. What you like about the series should be your shows. And if a social justice warrior or whatever that says that a show is like that because it's mocking that, then I say, are you serious, people? You're mocking it because of that? Haven't you heard of freedom of speech? Then why do you not hate on the politicians? and all those kind of characters that do shit all the time. The cartoon world is presenting something that exists in real life in a fictional, artistic way. It teaches us to accept that. You shouldn't really hate it like that. And Joy Boy, you wanted to see me angry? Fine, here I'm gonna be angry. A cartoon is something that teaches you wisdom more than you think. People, social justice, whatever. Don't attack a show because you think it's too feminine, too bad, or too even too mocking about that and that. You can always have the things you don't like about a show, or the fact that a pacing or something else is bad or whatever. But what you like about the show, you should like. And I think that all shows that did not get a proper ending should get a proper ending. Going to a old cartoon. Do you all know the Thundercats 2011? I sincerely wished that story cartoon would have gotten a proper finale. But I know it was flawed. It had a lot of things that I did not like. What did I not like? Well, mostly because Lion-O gets so unlucky with love. That's actually my one big complaint about the show. Other than that, Thundercats 2011 was a very enjoyable show. And it deserved to have a new season and a proper finale. But it never got it. And probably never will. But most of what I liked about Thundercats is that finally had pants. So, but Cartoon Network but all these old, what's their name? Animational sites, they have actually dropped in quality a lot, if you ask me. Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, they do not air as good cartoons as they did before. But again, creating cartoons is not easy. It is not easy at all. And I'm not even an animator or a writer. Hell, if any of you commentators are that, feel free to send me your art for your Twitter, if you have any. Because I can be your judge on if it's good or not. Because I'm the most honest guy you ever meet. I kid you not. I'm the most honest guy ever. So, but you all talked a lot about the Steven Universe and the fact that it's got bad at the season 4. Well, maybe it's time then for it to end. Because again, even a cartoon can be bad after a long time. I even think that My Little Pony needs to wrap up sooner or later. It cannot go on forever. I mean, a cartoon is good. But a long cartoon should only exist for about 7 or 8 seasons. After that, it can end, in my book. Because after that, people will feel like it's getting boring. And Netflix, they had one of the most brilliant ideas ever. And the fact that they had... what is that word? They had created animational series that they air in Netflix. That was one of the most brilliant ideas they have ever made. Voltron, I mean, they should do that. They should make a series for Netflix. I think that is the future. And Young Justice will come back, but not on Netflix. They will come on what is it? Warner Brothers streaming service site. It has yet a name on what it's gonna be about. However, when it's gonna be aired, I think I'm gonna watch it. But I do not think that streaming site is gonna be successful. People, I want Young Justice to come back for at least 3 or 2 more seasons. But I think after this 3rd season, it will get cancelled again. Mostly because people have no idea if they actually gonna want to see that new streaming site. And the success of Young Justice all depends on this streaming site. They are beaming everything on it. So, well, and John Boy, you said you want to make a manga but got no skills. Well, I got no art, but I got the story. If you and I want to if you and I want to swap ideas, then I'll fine by that. And SpongeBob, well, I don't watch SpongeBob, so to hear that the creator stepped down after the movie and it's still continuing. So yeah, I think maybe it should end. But I do not think Loud House should end yet. Again, just give it 5 seasons. After that, you can end it. In fact, we should actually check out ourselves. Is the Loud House series bad even when the creator got fired? Because in the end, if the series is bad because the creator got fired, then we have only to blame Nickelodeon for that mistake, despite the fact that it was one of the best new shows ever. But shows to recommend to you people. I recommend Voltron. It's one of the more action-packed series there, and it has some emotional tones to it, and the voice acting is excellent. The Troll Hunters, well, the voice acting is excellent. It may not grow on you for the first time, but it's not that bad. And Star Wars Rebels, I've watched it. Yeah, I think it's good. Good Star Wars series, but I still think that they should create a new animational Star Wars series that's about after the war is over. When the rebels are won and the Death Star is over, because I'm just so sick of these in between the war kind of series, mostly because I know in the end it's not going to be a happy ending. So and what's my manga concept? Well, that depends. Again, I was hoping to create a story about Final Fantasy. So that's what I really wish to create. My story was gonna be about but a bit despair and the fact that people and friends can be there for you, but you also have to walk through life in a bit difficult way. But maybe a little bit action and stuff like that. So yeah, this is me talking about all that stuff. And in the end, I got some commentators after all who agree with me on cartoons. I hope to watch you again in the futures of this all, because if I'm gonna review some cartoons and talk about cartoons, I hope you people subscribe to my channel and check them out and commentate on them then, because I would really like to have wonderful discussions with all of you, as all Anime X Manga God, John Boy, and even Heart 96. If you have any idea, if you guys want to talk cartoons about me, then I'm all game for that. So yeah, I will try to create this new concept. Let's talk cartoons. When will I do it? No idea. When will I? But I will try to at least do one video of that in January. I don't know which show I'm gonna start with though, but I think I'll start with a cult series, because we really need to talk about them. Will it be a live stream or will it be a normal video? I don't know. What is better, people? A live stream or a simple upload video? I mean, I know I'm not seriously asking. What do you think is the best? Yeah. So my fellow manga reviewers and my fellow cartoon lovers, wonderful to have this talk with you. But now I think I'm gonna start to wrapping up. So if you have any final thoughts, write them to me in this site. Is that the word? No. When this video is done, write it in the comment section there so I can see it and I can answer to all of you. Unless and everything else. And you say the stream is more interactive, and if you're ruining then regular upload. Yeah, I say stream too. And I guess my win. Maybe I will really do a stream. But again, people, I really wish I could have made those things stylish, but I do not. Hey, if any of you know a manga artist or an animator, why don't we all discuss things together? Because I really want to discuss with an animator, not about creating a career, mind you, but simply because I want to talk about how difficult it is to work when it comes to cartoons. Before I end this video, I'm gonna go back to manga, a little bit of the Black Clover manga. Apparently, one wrote in the chapter 99, we could see new members in that chapter. And well, both yes and no. I can only see one single new character in that manga. And it's that thick-haired guy that we saw in the last chapter, and we're gonna see him again in this one. So yeah, in the end, I think and you asked me a quick question here, Anime X Manga God. Do you read Promised Neverland? No, I do not. I have not read it. Feels like it's too heavy on despair for me. And I don't really know if I'm going to review that series. But I do know I think I would like it if I liked it. Because I heard the story and that thing is good. I have read the spoilers and all, but I haven't really gotten into it. So I wrap this up here. It's basically me talking about that. Is there anything on the final words I was going to say? Well, I can talk a little bit private, but only a little bit quickly, and say it like this. I'm a type of guy that has struggled with depression a little bit, but only kind of depression. But sometimes I feel like these cartoon characters. I don't feel like I belong anywhere. But people, do we even know where we belong? That's why. I even write poetry sometimes. In fact, I'm gonna read poetry to you all here as soon as I get up this site. You can say for yourself that it was bad, or if it was worse than anything else. Because I wrote two poetry things here that that's about despair and it's about hope. So let's see if these things can load up so I can read them to you all. See if I can find them. Here it is. Here we have my first one, Drowning in Despair. It goes like this. The moment I fall is the moment I no longer know. Words cannot reach me, nor can any hand that reaches out. I sink deeper, I cannot move. Around me is only water. I try to move, but my body refuses. I fear I am drowning, and yet I still breathe. Deeper and deeper I fall, all the while the light above is shining. Do I still yearn for it? I don't know. Am I sad? Am I lost? No one can answer, for I only hear the water. Perhaps I already know, for my heart is heavy. Never reaching the bottom, I simply fall in an endless abyss. The darkness of the sea. I cannot swim, but I do not drown. I cannot float, for I no longer want to move. This is how I feel to drown in despair, a sea of emptiness just as inside. That's my heavy poem. I hope you saw it like that. But I have made a hope. So I have made a hope poetry, and here is this is the hope manga poetry. Words are like energy, but so is taking action. Alone on a battlefield created by my thoughts, am I supposed to lie here and accept the reality? But the cold of fear never creeps close, for the people that appear are not those of enemy. Are the family of blood or the family tied together by fate? Those questions are just like the thoughts we all have. What I feel is our guide. So the one or those that reaches out, a simple gesture for some becomes a drive to live. Hesitations are only weights that, just like fear, keeps us down. The moment here is strength, given to us all when we are weak. Grabbing it, I can at last stand, walking and leaving this battlefield no longer alone. For that is the hand of hope, the ultimate power that allows you to live. This is those poetry. I have it. That's basically those. I hope any of you who's still watching here enjoyed it. But you all talked here about my favorite genre. When it comes to my favorite genre is most likely fantasy, because as much as it's fantasy, the less reality is in it. I do read some reality, but it has to be fantasy and action. That's my most like about it. It draws me in the most, fantasy and adventure. Okay then, seriously now, I'll end the live stream here. It's to my cartoon lovers, John Boy, manga, Anime X Manga God, and the Heart 96. If you guys are still hanging around my reviews, feel free to watch them and commentating. I would really like to have discussions. If any of you have a Twitter account, you can send a Twitter. And if I answer, I answer. If I don't answer, I don't answer. It's simple as that. And you all should watch the Dustin Reacts manga live stream tomorrow. Hopefully I will be there. But then again, there will be more awesome people than me there. So you won't regret watching that one. And I will start with the Let's Talk Cartoons next year. Looking forward to it. And I hope that if any of you at least do not catch the live stream, at least I hope you will commentate on the finished project. See you all around.